everyone, it is finally time for us to get our zinnia seeds started. I am thrilled but very overwhelmed because I honestly didn't realize how many different varieties that I have. So we're gonna have to pick and choose to start today, but I am super excited. If you're new here, hi, my name is Christy. I am located in Massachusetts Zone 6A with an average last frost date of May 15th, and I am obsessed with zinnias. I just started growing them last year. This is my second year gardening. I started off with just vegetables and I branched out with just marigolds and zinnias and dahlias, and I absolutely loved zinnias and dahlias. So today we are starting a ton of zinnias. Now, the reason for that is I plan on having my own flower stand at the end of my driveway, and I will be selling some cut flowers. So I'm going a little bit overboard, and if you could just see what I have in front of me, you'd be overwhelmed too. I'm actually gonna go ahead and put up a photo right now of all the varieties I have, and this doesn't even include some of the seeds that I have in my milk jugs, as well as some that I did seed swapping with that just didn't make it up here today. I plan on doing a few rounds of them, so I'll do some succession sowing. There's some that I definitely want to start today from Johnny's and Swallowtail. I will be also starting in about a week or two once I can get them off the heat mat, some for the school that I work at. So zinnia overload, here we come. I'll go over a few of the varieties that I plan on starting today. I'm trying to get in my trays the ones from Johnny's in one, another one that I have from Swallowtail, which are a little bit shorter. They will be a border zinnia, not so much for cut flowers. And then I'm trying to put all my giants in another cell tray and then going from there. I have two of my smaller heat mats actually being used right now for nasturtiums. So I have my large 4-foot one over there ready to go. It does have some dahlia still in a food container. So hopefully those will emerge soon so I can have room for about 5 or 6 different trayfuls. But then once they move off, I'll add some more on. All right, so when you are starting zinnias, it can take anywhere from 3 to 5 days to germinate, and it depends on what seed packet you're looking at. Some say that you should have your heat mat set around 75 degrees. Johnny's is where I usually have my go-to information, and they say around 80 to 85 degrees for germination. So I'm probably gonna stick with that 80-degree mark. It does get super warm in this room once the sun hits it, so it might bump it up a few more degrees. So if I keep it at a happy 80, if it reaches 85, once it gets warm in here, it won't be too bad. And I won't hopefully fry my seeds. If you do plan on succession sowing, you can start every 2 to 4 weeks, another batch. I plan on doing that because I think I actually have a little bit more space than I was initially thinking. So I will get this round going, and then once they're off the heat mat, I will do another round and so on. So I'm very excited to try all these different ones. I also have a bunch from Free Heirloom Seeds that I'm excited about because I think it's just like a color combo. It's not so much a specific one, so those will be a nice little surprise. So we have a lot to plant today. When you are planting them, you can also direct sow them as well. Regardless if you are sowing them inside or outside, you will want to sow them at a depth of about 1/4 of an inch, and then you can cover them. So I plan on doing seed starting mix, covering them with 1/4 of an inch of more seed starting mix, and then adding some vermiculite on top, dampening them again with a spray bottle, then getting them under a humidity dome and then on the heat mat. So you definitely want to learn from my mistake last year. You don't want these to get root bound. So I'm about 2 to 3 weeks out. So even though I'm starting them a little bit later, that is fine because they don't want their roots disturbed. I'm also starting them indoors because I tried last year direct sowing them. Unfortunately, I probably spread a couple hundred seeds, and I am not joking you, I only had 1 bloom. It was either I didn't keep it moist enough, I have a lot of little squirrels and chipmunks running around that could have ate them, and then the ones that were germinating, the slugs got to them, so I need to have a good fresh start. My favorite thing about zinnias are that they are a cut and come again flower. So the more you cut them, the more they will branch out and the more flowers you will get. And I would start with 1 single stem and it would branch out to about 10, 15 or more depending on the variety. Last year I did the Oklahoma series. They're a lot smaller, but they were beautiful. And I did 1 giant series. I can't remember which one exactly. And those were super nice too. So I'm going to do a nice mixture of all of them so I can have a little bit more of a variety. So enough of that, let's figure out what I'm going to be starting today, and I cannot wait. I've been just dying for this moment, so let's go. So right now my main focus is to do the Johnny seeds and then the Zahara double ripple one. Those ones will be for my border, and then the Johnnies, I really just want the lighter colors to be the beginning of my summer, and then towards the middle and end of the summer, I was hoping to do more of those brighter pinks and purples and oranges. And then I have a few that are a darker red, so I plan on doing those more towards the fall. So I'm trying to learn how to pick and choose my colors. And then, like I said, a lot of the ones from Free Heirloom Seeds, it just says like Chippendale or Under the Sea Zinnia. So it doesn't really tell me like what colors. It just says white salmon and fuchsia, but I don't really know what it looks like, so there was no pictures. So we're just going to start with the Johnny seeds. So as always, I have my pre-moistened seed starting mix. So I have a 60 cell tray right here. I am going to fill this in, just as I always do. But this time I'm going to make sure that I leave at least enough room to put 1/4 of an inch to bury the zinnia seeds. And I really hope I have enough seed starting mix because I started a lot this weekend. And I forgot to buy another couple bags. So if anything, I'll just have to go to like Tractor Supply tomorrow before grocery shopping and grab some so I can do some more zinnias. So we'll see how much I can get done today with you guys. But I will definitely update you. So once you have it in, make sure it has a good, firm compression in, so that way you can get rid of any air pockets. The last thing you need to do, especially in a tray this size, is have some pockets of air, so that way when you do bottom watering, you'll have like a random cell here or there that don't actually have the proper amount of water. So then you go back with like a hand mister or something just to make sure that it gets the adequate amount of water that it needs. So I like to give it a good firm press, and I haven't used a cell tray this big in a while. I usually do my 6 cell pack, so it's so much quicker. But that looks pretty good to me. I get all the extras and just, we'll give it another little pat in. So right now we're starting with the Johnny's Cinderella Peach. And today is April 26th. I'm gonna put that in so I know where I am starting. And I'm just gonna go for it and use all 25. Do I need 25? Probably not. I'm trying to see if I can talk myself into maybe 12, right? 12 would be better. Or maybe 18, how about that? All right, I am going to just do, all right, we'll do 18, just in case. Because you know what, you just never know. I'm gonna try and err on the cautious side. And I'm just gonna put 1 per cell. Oops, that one did not get pushed in good. I'm gonna take that one out quick and just add a little bit more. I must have missed that one. All right, and then that way, if for whatever reason they don't germinate, we can just go back and do some more. So all I am doing is just laying them horizontally in each cell, and we're going to stick to the 18. And then I think like 2 of them might have gotten 2 by accident. All right, we're gonna save the rest, err on caution. Try not to, I'm very big into overseeding. If this is your first time watching any of mine, I overseed a lot. Or I just start too many seeds and then I don't want to get rid of them. All right, next up is the Johnny's Ballerina. And I'll do this tray with you, and then what I'll probably do is, just to save you some time, I'll do a time lapse, and then I'll kind of let you know at the end what I decided to plant. So we'll get these in, and then I'm gonna figure out what I can put in with these, because I don't want it to mix with the dwarf variety. And I love how these just look like little arrowheads. And then, you know what? I might do the same with this. I might just do 18 of them and then save the rest for another time. And then sometimes what I'll do is if some of the seeds like don't look too promising, I will double it up. I feel like you always get like some that have like a nice firm body, and then others, sometimes they just look like they're a 50-50 chance of making it. So there is our Johnnies, and then I'm gonna figure out what we're gonna do for the next one. So I decided from Seed Cult, I'm going to do the cupcake mix and the Cinderella lilac. I'm kind of 50-50 right now with seeds from Seed Cult. I've had some that have had amazing germination, and then I've had some that I've had like 10 seeds come in and I've had 1 germinate. So and I've always had good luck with Baker Creek. So we'll see how these go. Peppermint stick. Okay, so we have all 60 of these tucked in. So I'm going to get them into the bottom tray, and I'm gonna put it off to the side. We're gonna do the double raspberry ripple one next, and then I will just do a time lapse from there, and I'll let you know what I planned. I probably said it like 500 times, but I figured why make you guys watch the whole entire thing? I know it's super exciting, at least for me, but I don't know. I do like to watch other people do it, and I will probably watch the whole way through or listen while I'm driving home. And because I'm running low on seed starting mix, we'll see what we can get done today. I did plant a bunch of nasturtiums. And what else did I have underneath there? And then I did some more dahlias too, because I figured my patch was actually way bigger than I was planning on it. Now that was painstakingly time consuming to do all the trays with that 1/4 inch. You can also make holes if you want. Normally I would just chuck everything on, but since I am so low on seed starting mix today, I didn't want to waste any by having it run off the table or onto the floor. But normally I would just do what I'm doing now, just chuck it on and be like, whatever. But I do have potting soil. I haven't started much unless it was like a bigger seed in potting soil. So I could, if I really wanted to, try and do that as well. But I was trying to save some of my potting soil for when I did my cucumbers and my squash and zucchini. I'm going to get those started. I was supposed to get started this weekend, but I'll probably wait till next weekend. I will just mostly start my cucumbers because I like to direct seed the squash and zucchini. I will try that again. And the same thing for like green beans and stuff. Those will all be direct seeded or direct sown as well. So let's see here. All right, here we go. And then I'll probably do that painstaking process after. All right, I am going to do a whole 40 count of these. I want it on my whole entire border up front and around my, I have like a small little perennial island, so I really want to add that there. So this whole entire 40 cell count tray is going to be filled with the Zahara Double Raspberry Ripple by Swallowtail. Okay, so we're gonna use all of those. Oh my gosh, they were so pretty. And I'm trying to just try a little bit of everything, basically because I want to learn what I like and what I don't like. So that way next year I can just focus on the types that I found to be suitable for what I am doing. Oh my gosh, these are teeny, teeny, tiny. So I'm going to try and use this as my year for experimenting. And I'm also that person where if I go somewhere and then I see, you know, the grocery store or at Walmart or a big box store, and I see a seed packet, I always end up taking one. So if anyone else is like that, please let me know that I'm not the only one. All right, so I have all 40 done, and it's always good to make sure you read the seed pack because this one says to barely cover. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to just lightly cover. Normally I would just do vermiculite if it's something said to like lightly cover, but then sometimes it has a hard time when it's sprouting to like stick to the dirt. So I'm just going to do a fine layer of this just to make sure it's barely covered. I will press down and then I will go and do the vermiculite. I just want to make sure it's just lightly covered. All right, we're good here. Now we're going to do our vermiculite, water them in, and then I'm going to just keep plugging along, seeing how much seed starting mix I have. I hope I can do at least another 40 cell count, and then I'll have to just grab some more. And then maybe I can let you know in the comments later or in the description what I decided to plant. All right, and then again, I like to put a lot of vermiculite. My room is getting super warm right now. It can average almost 80 degrees in here. Even with my fans on, I have 2 huge overhead fans that will go all day. And then I have a larger one that will rotate so that way my tomatoes can get a nice breeze and my peppers, but it still gets warm in here. And I don't want to close the shades because I like that natural light in. All right, so we have 2 trays full down and we'll see how. That took forever, but we got it done. So I ended up choosing, depending on how many seeds there were, I did the giant dahlia flowered zinnia, the Benary's giant salmon rose, pink giant queen lime blush, and giant apricot rose. These are all from seed cult. So I did a whole seed cult tray. And then I'll probably go in next and I'll do one from free heirloom seeds. I think I have enough seeds starting to mix to do another 40 count. But I'm probably gonna hop off right now because my little one is wiggling around. So it'll just be something that I'm going to finish up later. So I hope you found this helpful. It was very long and drawn out. So again, with zinnias, you have the option to direct sow them if you choose. I've seen people just sprinkle packets everywhere and they come up so nice and beautifully and they don't even have to do anything to them. They just water them and let them be. For me, I did not have a great success doing that last year, so this year I'm gonna start them all on my own. I'm gonna gauge and see where the slugs are this year. I'm hoping maybe they won't be as bad because I didn't dig up that area like I did last year. So we'll see how that goes. And I will keep you posted when things germinate. I hope to do another little greenhouse tour and what is under my grow racks tour. We have a lot of dahlias going on. I'm gonna pinch some back and try and root some and see how that goes. But my tomato plants are getting like out of this world big. So that is my next task to figuring out how I can get them into the greenhouse. I'm hoping some milk crates will help. But yeah, so just stay tuned. Again, I hope they found this helpful. I feel like this is more of just a hanging out section. But if you want to stay updated, go ahead and click like and subscribe and hit that bell button. And hopefully in 3 weeks, we'll be planting these out and warmer weather will be on our way, and especially warmer nights. We need some 50-degree nights, pretty please. So happy gardening. Bye.